Good day, jurors, and to my thesis advisor, Architect Dan Lichauco. I'm Rosan Wanico, and I would like to greet you a pleasant morning. I'll be presenting my proposed study entitled Tahanan. It is a comprehensive design in building child-friendly and child-safe structures for orphanages in Quezon City. To start off, we will talk about the background of the study. According to the Philippine Orphanage Foundation, there were at least 2 million orphan children among the country's 109 million people. The figure is so large and has been for a long time that it is reasonable to call it a crisis. They stated that 139 is the average number of orphans adopted per year from 2014 to 2018, and 1,350 Filipino children adopted by American families from 2009 to 2015. That is 0.0000695% of the orphan population find a permanent home. To understand the orphan crisis in the Philippines, the Philippine Orphanage Foundation made 4 reasons that may be contributing to the Philippine ever-increasing orphan population. First is the natural disaster. Second is the teen preterm pregnancy. Third is poverty. Fourth, lack of education, which bring us to the final factor contributing to the Philippine orphan crisis. The Philippine Orphanage Foundation, together with DSWD, is the proponent of the project. They have allocated a budget of 2 billion and identified the site to be in Pasang Tamu, Quezon City. Statement of the problem. The enormous rise of orphan and abandoned children is an endless crisis. They are anywhere, left broken and ignored in many places throughout the world. A lot of them will be raised without understanding the true meaning of love. They live without experiencing the embrace, leadership, and guidance of parents. They are not given the opportunity or rights to higher education, nor are they guaranteed a well-established career, and most of them remain unwanted. The proposed orphanage is called Tahanan, that has double meaning. Tahan means stop crying and Tahanan means home. To put it into sentence, it means stop crying now because you are finally home. Goals and objectives. To formulate an architectural design for the orphanage that can accommodate the material and psychological need of an orphan child. To design anthropometric spaces, which is based on a child's measurement. A design that stimulates their senses, promote their interaction with the people and with the built environment. To apply color psychology like bright color, which radiate happiness and possibility, and using natural lighting that greatly influence human body, both visual and non-visual. To use sustainable construction materials, such as bamboo, which is good alternative for an affordable home material, and cement eco bricks, which are built from shredded plastic garbage, and wet cement, making them stronger. To incorporate biophilic design on the built environment and the use of rainwater harvesting system, as the approach is cost-effective, a substantial sum of money may be saved each year. To evaluate the wind direction around and inside the houses for the optimum utilization of prevailing wind for natural ventilation. Orphans come from different backgrounds, and changing environment tend to be very challenging for them to adjust. We must take into consideration the perspective of a child and incorporate how materials and surface can influence their mindset, inspire feelings, modify their way of behaving. The material utilization inside the space ought to eliminate any feeling of dread a child might be feeling after entering and delivering an atmosphere of amicability through architecture. The primary materials to be used are bamboo, laminated wood, and eco bricks. There are more different parts of the project that needs to be properly addressed to, not just the materials, like sensory play and form of space, that will give tranquility and solitude to the user. While the arrangement of open air is fundamental, the design of a home in which a child stays should oblige a surrounding that will permit positive mental excitement. The mix of play inside the home for cooperation and non-stop spaces for social communication are factors that were painstakingly thought of and executed into the plan. Review of related literature. Article 1. Architecture enabling transformation of lives in children's home. This paper looked at how child-friendly design of the orphanage and its direct environment can support smooth course of changing places and assist with incorporating these children with a new home by wiping out the sensation of estrangement. Findings and application. Spaces that are too large can lead to noise and confusion, while spaces that are too small can create a heightened level of stress and anxiety. Incorporate cubies and comfortable corners in our design. Article 2. Designing stimulating environment to alleviate orphan children's psychological problem. This study investigated how architecture design might help orphan children deal with psychological issues such as social isolation, despair, and fear because of losing their parents and adjusting to a new environment away from home. Findings and application. Stimulating environment. Engaging the body, encouraging playful sensory exploration, and offering a seamless relationship with the site's natural environment. Create interactive spaces within the site to activate their senses, brain, and emotion. Article 3. Comprehensive Guide on the Color Psychology for Kids. In this article, the writer explained that to understand the basic principle of color psychology, you need to be knowledgeable on how color can affect the brain development of children. Findings and application. Colors affects mood, emotion, action, and overall ambience of space. Apply bright colors in the interior for kids and pastel or matte colors for teens as this color radiate happiness and possibility. Article 4. Natural light and productivity. Analyzing the impact of daylight on student and workers' health and alertness. According to this research, natural light can increase subjective mood, attention, cognitive performance, physical activity, sleep quality, and alertness in students and employees, in addition to its role as vitamin D production agent. Findings and application. Humans are affected both physical and psychological by light. We must maximize the natural light by using skylight and pocket garden. Article 5. Bamboo seen as ideal building material for sustainable homes. In this article, they are trying to change the misconception for bamboos as a poor man's material, which how Filipinos perceive it, stating that bamboos can be an alternative building technology for socialized housing. Findings and application. More cost efficient by 15 to 20% compared to a conventional house. So to be most cost efficient, we will incorporate bamboo materials in designing the orphanage. Article 6. These eco bricks are 4 times stronger than your regular hollow blocks. This article discusses about a solution to the large number of plastic waste which has been a problem not just in the Philippines but also around the world by making cement eco bricks a combination of two technologies. Findings and application. Cement eco bricks are heavier, sturdier, and more compact, with PSI ranging from 670 to 770 and 870 depending on the shredded plastic incorporated in. This implies that the building they are used to build are 4 times stronger. Using cement eco bricks in constructing the walls of the orphanage. Article 7. Sustainability of rainwater harvesting system in terms of water quality. This research was conducted in Dhaka City, which always has a shortcoming of supplied water due to an imbalance between demand and supply. They did studies of its benefits, the quality of rainwater, cost effectiveness, its water saving strategy, the impact on energy and climate. Findings and application. It is only cost effective as installation cost is low and it can reduce expenses that one must pay for water bills. To use the rainwater harvesting system in the orphanage as a sustainable option of providing water and reducing water expenses. Topic 8. Investigation of biophilic architecture patterns and prioritizing them in design performance in order to realize sustainable development goals. In this work, it was discussed and analyzed the ideas of biophilic-based architecture, also known as biodiversity-friendly architecture, to achieve the goal of sustainable development. Findings and application. Biophilic design is an innovative method that highlights the necessities of preserving, enhancing, and restoring meaningful natural experience in the built environment. Incorporate nature-inspired spaces or structures of the orphanage. Topic 9. CFD evaluation on a pre- and post-renovation and windows and doors opening of a typical wall-detached family house in the Philippines. According to the study, through assessment of the architectural style based on an analysis of the lot perimeter wall, house windows and doors location, and house internal division is essential in the utilization of natural ventilation depending on the direction of prevailing wind in the house surroundings. Finding and application. The house and its surrounding access to fresh air is reduced because of the lot perimeter wall. Design the building as far away as possible from the perimeter walls to maximize wind field and reduce the use of mechanical ventilation. Topic 10. A review of sustainable material for acoustic application. The study provides an update overview of the acoustical characteristic of sustainable materials, both natural and recycled, as well as mixed and composite materials and systems such as green roofs, green walls, and it's complemented with a diverse range of current link publication. Findings and application. The total energy required for the production and installation of the cost of this material is often lower. To use natural or recycled materials for acoustic in rooms that are noisy, like the nursery rooms. Case studies. Topic 1. SOS Children's Village. The SOS Children's Village is in Tadhora. In response to the adverse weather condition as well as the community tradition, the architect designed outdoor living areas with ventilation, thermal comfort, safety, and self-sufficiency in mind. Findings and application. Regarding the distribution, all houses share similar designs but are organized differently, near to each other, offering shade to one another and creating alleyways among them in an apparent disorder manner. Adoption of this design concept in the orphanage can make common spaces and pathways comfortable to walk at. Topic 2. Butterfly houses. The project's major motivation was to reproduce what these kids would have experienced in more typical contexts, that each child should be given their own private area, a house in which they live, and a neighborhood in which to connect and play. Findings and application. Moisture and root in the construction are avoidable by lifting the structures from the ground on four foundation formed in used tires. As we are using sustainable materials like bamboo, the concept of lifting the structure can be applied. Topic 3. Street Light Tagpuro, a study center and orphanage in the Philippines. Erickson Foron's architecture and Leandro V. Luxin partners and Bois spearheaded a collaboration community effort to plan and build a storm-resistant post-disaster building for street light. Findings and application. To be resistant to typhoon, the structure has open void and uses diamond-shaped light timber slatted frames inserted between concrete volumes to allow powerful winds to flow through. In order to be typhoon-resistant, adoption of this concept to the structure of the orphanage can be applied. Research focus on methodology. This project will focus on the following aspect: architectural design, the form, size, and texture and color of the interior and exterior design in order to exude friendly and home-like atmosphere, the behavior of the user from the staff, adapter, volunteers, and especially the children that will promote interaction to build their social skills. The construction method. Designing buildings that are not too massive, like 1 to 2 story homes so they won't be overwhelmed with the transition of changing home, using cozy home-like materials such as bamboo, wood, and bricks, etc. Applying psychological colors for interior to give spark to their creativity. For the research methodology, there will be an interview with an architect to know the fundamental requirements, spaces, consideration in designing orphanage and its criteria in locating the suitable site. Orphanage director to know the terms and process for adopting children, to know how children react when being brought to the orphanage. Orphanage caretaker to know the condition of the children in the orphanage and their daily routine, to know how they handle children with different age and gender. A child from the orphanage to know the children's point of view inside the orphanage and how they interact with each other, to know their psychological conditions, especially being confined in an orphanage. Survey to the orphans to know other information like age, gender, when they were brought to the orphanage, and etc. Observation to an orphanage. To know how children behave in the orphanage and how a caretaker interact with the children. Lastly, from journals and books from City Development Planning of Quezon City to know the classification and correct zoning in choosing the site for the orphanage. And the Philippine Orphanage Foundation to know the orphan crisis in the Philippines. The project is under Group D Institutional, and these are the zoning classification. And since the site is under R2 Residential, this is the R2 zoning classification. Building height limit and setbacks. Minimum percentage of open space by occupancy and reference table for PSI, ISA, and USA. Site justification. The proponent gave me this site because it has all the criteria needed. In terms of land area, the site is large enough to handle 100 or more residents and to have enough space for recreational activity. It is accessible to Bonifacio Drive, a 4-lane road. It is under R2 medium density residential zone and its actual land use is still vacant. Existing utilities and services are available within the site, and in terms of safety and security, the area is safe enough for the users and for the development. The site is free of any potential damage, injury from natural hazard. Site is relatively flat and can hold all possible use. And if the orphanage can provide like higher education, there are a lot of nearby schools around the site. There are also a lot of existing vegetation inside the site. And lastly, the site is large enough for future expansion. Microsite analysis. First is the topographic map. The lowest area is the darkest color, and the highest area is the brightest color. Hydrological map showing the prominent location of the catchment area. Wind map showing the natural flow of air inside the development. Auditory map showing the source of noise pollution that could affect the design process. Visual map showing where to orient views to maximize the beauty of the built environment. The sun map showing the direction of the sun. SWOT analysis. Strength. Electrical, water, and communication lines as well as drainage and sewer lines are available. Site has a non-arid climate and is a rolling or sloping terrain which allow easy movement of water, resulting absence of danger of flooding. Site is located at a more private area away from the busy street. Weakness: no existing paved road. Entrance of the site is susceptible to flooding and will be addressed in a more difficult and expensive way. Opportunity: the site is large enough to be able to design freely. Future expansion is possible. There are existing vegetation that can incorporate in the design. Threat: low susceptibility for flooding. Noise pollution surrounded by informal settlers making it noisy. Strategy: create a road connecting the site to Bonifacio Drive. Surround the site with buffers, specifically trees. Create a bridge to add character to the entrance while avoiding the flooded area. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Once again, I'm Rosan Manico. Have a good day, sir.